on. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another Freedom Friday with the Wave Makers. Guys, I'm pulling some heavy strings these days with our guest speakers. So I'm super excited for the information that we're about to get. Here's the reality of the situation, guys, is most people have to pay astronomical amounts of money to get spoon-fed success principles from people like who our guest speaker is tonight. He's my own personal financial mentor, as well as just my mentor in life, multiple seven figures. And I'm super excited to pick his brain about how he got there and some of the things that he had to overcome. If you are not taking notes, you are at a significant disadvantage. If you are not taking notes, you are putting yourself at a significant disadvantage. Right? So I encourage you to actually plug into this conversation. There's going to be so many success principles that are heard on this call that might be the difference maker between you continuing down the road that you're on and you taking a hard left towards a much better place. Right? So with that being said, I'm super excited to introduce Mr. Cory Kromray, my own personal life coach. Cory, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing, brother?
We're doing great, man. We're super humble and super grateful that you wanted to come share this time with us. We have young entrepreneurs from all over the world on this call. We've been building this community out for about 4 years now, and we got people in doTERRA, we got people in Anagic, we got people who are with us in B, and we have people who are building businesses outside of network marketing. Just a beautiful hybrid of people who are just yearning for more. Right. And just want to grow consistently and want to be successful. And, me and Nick really taproot our network, and we go in and are like, well, who are the wildly successful people in our network that we can try to rope onto these calls and pick their brain and get some value. And, you're definitely number one on my list in terms of success. And, that's why I brought you into my world, and I'm super grateful. So if you wouldn't mind, man, why don't you take about 3 to 5 minutes and just kind of introduce yourself to the community, share your story, share, what you've been through just to get to where you are now, multiple seven figures into your career, and, really living that financial freedom lifestyle.
Well, first and foremost, I'm actually extremely excited today because I just got my PFS back from the bank, and I'm worth $13.5 million. So I'm actually an 8-figure earner now. So I'm pretty excited, right? So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm actually getting ready to take out a loan to complete the purchase of my house, and I was actually worth $7 million last year, and now I'm worth 13.5. So I'm like, woo, I'm 8 figures. So, but guys, it wasn't always like that for me. I'm a 16-year-old high school dropout who was really working construction and washing dishes for minimum wage on the weekends when network marketing came into my life at 21 years old. It was, for me, my only option, right? A lot of people told me it wasn't going to work. Everyone told me it was a scam, pyramid, Ponzi, whatever you want to say. That's really what was every single, word that I got from everybody I approached with it. But what they didn't know is what I saw. What I saw is, this is my only shot. And if one man or woman can do it, then so can I. And I don't really care if it's legal or not. I don't have any options. I'm going to go do it. And if I found out it's legal later, well, what did I have to lose, man? I'm living a life of quiet desperation, spiritual depression every single day. So you know what? If I was going to go out and somebody was going to shut my business down for selling purple juice that sold cancer, well, there's worse things to go to jail for, right? So that's how I looked at it. And, obviously we turned into a, 7-figure earners in the industry by the time I was 24 years old. I'd made my first $1 million just shortly after to lose it all, right? Because of poor financial management, poor financial skills. And I've actually been to the top and I've been to the bottom multiple times, make $25,000, $30,000 a month, company goes out of business, save up $150,000 and lose it all in a bad financial investment. I've been through so much, over the last, 11, 12 years of my entrepreneurship journey that, I got a little fruit on the tree now, and I'm still pretty young, 34 years old. I have a lot to be thankful for. I have 2 beautiful children, 3 and 5 years old, a beautiful wife who's really been through all the ups and downs with me, from, living in Trump International Golf Course at the end of Brawley School Road in Mooresville, North Carolina, from going to living at that level to living in a travel lodge motel in Green Bay, Wisconsin. like she's been through it all, and she's been there with me every single step of the way. So if it wasn't for her grace and her mercy and our good Lord and Savior, man, I definitely wouldn't be the man I am today. Very, very humbled to be on this call. And I'm very thankful that you invited me out to share some wisdom. Mike and Nick, super proud of you guys, who you are, the movement that you guys are leading. It's very inspirational. And it's actually what attracted me to you, Mike. Just a short time ago, I just always felt encouraged. I didn't really know Mike, but over the last, I would say probably 3-4 years, I would just reach out to Mike once in a while and say, hey, dude, I just want you to know every day, even though I don't know you, you inspire me a lot. I saw Mike's journey unfold. I saw the ups and downs. I saw the highs of the highs. I saw the lows of the lows, even where he wasn't really letting you guys know he was going through lows. I could see it because I was there, and I wanted to reach out so many times, and eventually I got that call from him, and the rest is history. And I'm just really blessed to be a part of your life, Mike. I'm blessed to be a part of your life, Nick. And I'm blessed to have met so many wonderful people through these two gentlemen. And I'm really proud to be here with you guys tonight.
I love it, man. I love it. And I appreciate you. Congratulations. Yo, drop some twos in the chats. My man's worth 13.5 million. That is a dream. That is 8 figures right there. And that's something to really be proud of, man. And I think the biggest thing that a lot of people are starting to see through the people that we have speak on this call is it's not sunshine and rainbows, and there's no elevator to success. You keep trying to cut corners, and that's why you keep coming up short, right? And to see that number, and to, really understand what it took to get there. My first question, man, I'm going to open up the gates, a little bit about how we do this. Yin and yang coming at you. I'm going to ask 3 questions. My best friend, my business partner, who couldn't be more opposite of me, is going to ask you 3 questions. And then, towards the tail end, we're going to open up the floor for anybody who might be on the call who wants, to pick your brain a little bit. But, my starting question, anytime I see somebody with significant wealth, my immediate question is, what industry are you in? Because I need to be looking at that industry. So what are some of the different tools that you use to actually accumulate that wealth? What was your cash cow? And then what did you get involved in once you started getting healthy income to kind of scale to that 8-figure mark?
Sure. So, the first thing was network marketing. Network marketing, I would have to say, is really the contributing factor to all of the success I've had. It's been the pinnacle of my success. I was saved through network marketing. I found Jesus in network marketing. I made my first million in network marketing. I got my first mentor in network marketing. I learned everything that you could possibly know about business. I basically got a Harvard business education through network marketing. And the great thing about it was I didn't have to pay for it, right? And I'm not in hundreds of thousands of debt to that education that I received. So that's really where the journey has begun. I would really say it, and I'm sure a lot of you that are in the network marketing industry have heard this said before. It is a very true and accurate statement. If you're telling me that you've never done anything entrepreneurial before and you said, where do I start? I said, you find a good network marketing company and find a good mentor, and you go to work and you learn how to lead a team of people. And that'll teach you everything that you need to know about getting started as an entrepreneur, right? You're going to learn the ups and downs. You're going to learn how to handle rejection. You're going to learn how to love people, and you're going to learn how to love yourself. And you're going to be forced to do it even when you don't want to. So that's what I would say that the starting point should be for everybody. After network marketing, I actually kind of really got kind of sick and tired of the same old thing in network marketing. So I left the industry years back, went into consulting, and I could really see a lot of the back end stuff of network marketing, which really actually kind of made me lose faith in the industry because, gosh, there's just a lot of greedy owners and a lot of people that are great visionaries, but very poor at execution. And to find a winning combination where you have great vision and also really good execution is very rare in the industry nowadays. So I lost faith for the industry. I went into consulting and network marketing for a while, then ended up, partnering up with my yin to the yang or whatever it is. I don't know which one's yang and which one's yang. I'm the hyper one. I am the Mike. My business partner is the Nick, for those of you who know Mike and Nick. But he's a slow down to speed up guy. He's helped me reevaluate my life over the last several years. And since him and I partnered up in business together about 4 years ago, we started off consulting together. and made a lot of money consulting. We consulted for Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies, billion-dollar brands in the network marketing space. I was actually the lead consultant that took Jeunesse into Europe as a strategic launch consultant over there, working with a couple other consultants. Met a lot of great people in the industry, and really got connected to a lot of the hierarchy of network marketing, which also kind of got me really interested in how the business could be done a lot different if I was ever to do it again. And I am actually doing it again now. So it's really interesting to see how I've applied some of the principles I learned from some of the guys that you don't really even hear their names in the industry, but they make more money than anybody you see on the list. Like I know a guy in network marketing that makes over $5 million a month, and nobody on this call probably even knows who he is. You know what I mean? So it's like when you really learn how to operate it as the true business it is, to give it the real true potential that it has, it could actually make you $100 million a year if you wanted to. It's really a great business model. The economies of scale are unlike anything I've ever seen in any other business. So I actually love network marketing. But, you know, when I got into consulting, I learned a lot of different things in business, right? When you sit down with Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 CEOs, you learned different thinking points. One of the things that I've really noticed about all major CEOs of major corporations is they're all very aggressive readers, and they don't just listen to audios. They really read books, right? I always say, like, all readers aren't leaders, but all leaders are definitely readers. So if you're not reading books, you really need to start, and just start for 15 minutes a day. That's what I did years ago, right? I started reading 15 minutes a day. And sometimes even right now, because I'm really hustling and grinding on my next venture, on my newest project. So I don't really have a lot of time, but I still read for 15 minutes every night. I try to, right? I rarely miss it, right? You know, once in a while I do, because I really rather spend that 15 minutes with my kids, but I almost have to read before I go to bed because it helps me wind down a little bit. And I almost feel like there's something missing from my life if I'm not doing that. And then that second part that I also learned from all these, you know, really wildly successful people is that they're all listening to personal development, and really they all have morning routines too. And they all of their morning routines revolve around personal development one way or another, whether it's, you know, 20 minutes of meditation, and then, you know, maybe 20 minutes of meditation in the good book, 20 minutes of, you know, a personal development audio or Les Brown speech on the internet, and then really diving into those books, but reading and listening. And then another thing is they all associate with like-minded people, right? People that have same visions of them, people that are big thinkers, and also people that stretch their vision. And I would say that the fourth thing would be they all have mentors. All of them. Even the most successful people that you've ever seen in your life, they all have mentors. I guarantee Jeff Bezos has a mentor. He's getting information from somewhere, and maybe he doesn't have one that he really relies on today, but I guarantee he had one to get him to the point of where he's at today for sure, right? So you have to read, you have to listen, you have to associate with like-minded people, and you have to have a mentor. All of the founding fathers had mentors, right? They were all raised on classics, right? They're all raised on library education. Library education was really being able to not only read a book, but then to be able to interpret the meaning of that book in your own language based on how you understand it, and be able to teach it to somebody else. Nick might teach it to you different than Michael teach it to you, but they're both learning concepts from different people who have different trains of thought and different personalities. So library education was so important in how this country was founded, because you had to be able to take those books and dissect them with your mind in the regard of teaching it in front of your class the next day. And I think that that's one of the most crucial things that's missing out of our education system. You know, we have this Soviet conveyor belt method of education where we're pumping 50 people in a classroom and expecting them to all learn at the same pace. And it's wrong. And that's why 95% of the people control 5% of the money. It's systematized that way, right? So one of my big missions and goals in life is to kind of teach people how to, number one, grow as a person. We need to learn how to think, not what to think or when to think. See, our whole grade school, our whole, young adult life, from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade, we're taught what to think. What to think. If we think outside the box, we got ADD, where we're too creative. We're too wildly out of sync with what they're teaching. So this authoritative figure who gets paid $30,000 to $40,000 a year is programming your mind to do and think exactly what they tell you to think. And that's what's wrong. So they teach you what to think. And then you go to college and you're learning when to think, right? I'm going to go to engineering school, so I'm going to teach when to think as an engineer, and I have an engineering mind. That's basically all I know is how to be an engineer. So I'm getting taught when to think. But the trick is, and the goal is, and my mission in life is to teach people how to think for yourself, how to learn something that I teach you, and then understand it in your personality, and then be able to go and teach it successfully to somebody else, meaning the same thing with your own personal touch, right? But also have you draw your own conclusions on the things that I'm teaching you, so you actually make it your own idea, because that's how it's going to really get embedded in your subconscious. So, those are the majority of the success tips that I learned in going through those phases. And now, about 7 years ago, I actually kind of stepped out of consulting a little bit. Now we still do a lot of it now. We really kind of picked it back up over the last couple of years, but I got involved in the financial markets and started trading. And, that's when my life went really straight vertical. I actually started trading the Forex market about 7 years ago, made millions and millions of dollars doing that, managed one of the top grossing private equity portfolios in the Midwest, top 1% all-time traders at TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab for the last 2 consecutive years. So I've had a really good run in the trading industry. And now I've actually positioned myself with a network marketing company that does trading education, and also getting back involved in that business model where it can truly, help people from any walk of life really learn how to grow as a person, and then also teach people how to make systematic cash flow so they understand leverage and how to leverage your time, because that's really the true way of getting wealthy. And then also to kind of wrap it up, to have people learn how to keep their money, because that's one of the things that's not taught in the industry of network marketing. That's why people make $1 million, in a company, the company goes out of business and they're broke 2 years later looking for the next deal. And these are typically the people that you see, really riding on the coattails of what they've done in the past, trying to go from company to company to company to company, getting the deal, right? The art of the deal based on the $1 million that they made 10 years ago or 12 years ago, 15 years ago. They're still riding on that same story, and they just go from deal to deal to deal to deal to deal to deal to deal, and they'll never really lead a big organization again, because once their bonus runs out, they're on to the next thing, right? So what I'm doing is I got a goal over the next 3 years to have 1 million people learning how to grow as a person, teaching them how to make more money through systematic cash flow, teach them how to keep their money, number 4, and then also at the same time, teach them how to grow and compound that money through the skills of trading that I've actually learned how to do. So that's kind of where I'm positioned right now, Mike. And I think I'm positioned very, very well for the future to help a lot of people.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I appreciate the in-depth. My man, if you guys aren't catching on, he is super eager to teach the information, right? But the industry is right. It was network marketing and trading. It was network marketing and then learning how to trade, which is a common theme. Our last speaker, Jay Adams, was talking about trading and getting into the financial markets. Guys, it's important, right? Especially the economy that we're facing. Nick, take it over, brother. I'm not sure if you're still with us. Nick's in the middle of a storm.
Sure. I'm here, man. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're coming through loud and clear, brother.
Fantastic. Well, first of all, Cory, wow. You are dropping an insane amount of nuggets right now, and it is unbelievable. Guys, drop a 3 in the chat if you've gained already some amazing value. I think it's spot on. I think your mind is so brilliant. It thinks so fast and so clearly at the same time, man. So I got a lot of respect for you. I got a lot of love for you, and I'm inspired when you show up and when you speak. So I'm grateful that you're here with us. My first question for you is this, and I want to go deep. I want to go to the heart right now, and let's get raw with everyone here. So usually, and from my personal observation and experience in business and in life so far, usually people that have accomplished some amazing levels of success, at least the one that society sees as a lot of success, right? Let's say in the business world that's quantifiable, they had to overcome some pretty deep self-limiting beliefs that they had in life, right? And so I want to ask you, what is one of those self-limiting beliefs that maybe was keeping you in your journey of success from breaking through into your new level? And when you did overcome that, it kind of opened the floodgates to your new life.
Yeah, so that's actually a really loaded answer for me. And I can get in a lot more detail about this maybe in the future. But when I was 16 years old, I actually got in a car accident on my way to school one day, and my best friend was killed. And I was the driver of the vehicle. And my parents didn't have money, right? And I grew up in a very poor family. And so basically I had a public defender defending me in the lawsuit, right? And they talked my parents into having me take this plea agreement, which, you know, basically I had to sit a year in jail at 17 years old. And that if I completed the year in jail and 3 years probation, that, you know, they would clear it off my record. Well, in the meantime, you know, I was out on Huber work release. I decided to go water skiing with my friends when I was supposed to be at work on the 4th of July with my girlfriend and some friends, and I got caught, and they charged me with felony escape. And you know, even though I went back to jail that night and turned myself in, and you know what I mean? I didn't even know that they were looking for me, right? I was just kind of returning to jail like I normally did on the day. And all of a sudden, you know, they're putting handcuffs on me and they're taking me to the hole. Now I'm 17, you know, like going on 18 years old. And it was the most rough experience of my entire life because I got another charge. Now they were going back to charge me with the you know, original charge that they were going to charge you with, which was vehicular manslaughter, right? So now I'm facing 85 years in prison at 17 years old, felony, or I'm a felon, convicted felon. And, you know, of course I got through everything with a lot of challenges and addictions and so many ups and downs, like guys like, you know, addicted to heroin, living in streets and in the middle of winter in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in a snowsuit, crawling underneath a car that was just started because I could get some warmth. I mean, just the most gruesome of gruesome stories that you guys could ever imagine of somebody going through shit. I went through it. So as I was coming out of that, it took me so long to just build confidence to be a man, because I was just this like boy trying to yearn for like somebody to believe in me. And it was so hard because I was looked at this guy that just was this decaying member of society because, you know, growing up in a small town with a population of 3,000 people, you got to know all of this stuff was in the headlines of the paper, front page, front page, front page. So I was unable in my own hometown to live a structured life. So I just turned to drugs and alcohol because it would numb the pain. So for years, I struggled with drug addiction, years, and it was so bad. I overdosed 3 times. Flatlined for 90 minutes once. There was actually a book called 90 Minutes of Heaven out there. I don't know if you guys have read it. An amazing book. I actually was flatlined for 90 minutes. So I'm just a true miracle, you know, right here in the flesh. I don't know why. You know, I've been through so many things to where God's kept me here for a purpose, and I know what it is now, of course. But I didn't know what it was then. And nobody would give me a job. Nobody would give me a chance. You know, I was a 16-year-old kid that got in a bad car accident, and everybody looked at me because of this felony on my record like I was this guy that went out and murdered someone. I was completely sober when it happened. I was in a coma for 6 months, so I didn't know what happened that day, right? Nobody knew. Only the guy that hit me. The guy that hit me was the only other witness, and of course, he's the one who hit me, so he said I ran a stop sign. Well, you know, when you don't have money for lawyers, you end up having to do what you got to do, and that was how my life started, right? So my whole thing, Nick, to answer your question in short, was because I went through that such a traumatic experience, dude, I never believed in myself. And I never, ever, I always was afraid of what everybody would think of me. Who's going to get business with me? I'm just a loser felon who's been in and out of jail. I'm a loser drug addict that's not worthy. Even when I was clean and sober, I still thought I was a loser because of, you know, such traumatic experiences. Oh God, dude, it was tough, bro. It was so tough. And people just would not let it go. You know, there'd be voicemails on my mom's answer machine, you know, calling me a murderer, people saying they were going to kill me and chop me up like hamburger. And imagine a mother going through that, you know? And, so, you know, for a long time, really pretty much to the point to where I was 21 years old, I tell people this story of why network marketing is so powerful. Network marketing saved my life. Like it saved my life. Like I was a drug addict, loser, alcoholic. Like I remember the night before I went to my first super open to even check out network marketing. Dude, I got hammered the night before, and my landlord who was picking me up to take me to this event, he was just pounding on my door for like 20 minutes. I didn't even know who it was. I was pissed off. Answered the door. My boxers smelling like booze. And for some reason, he just sat there, kept knocking on my door. I don't know. It must be a God thing. But he took me to my first event. I saw these 2 gentlemen named Orrin Woodward and Chris Brady. These guys are 2 of the top leadership gurus in the world. They own a company called Life Leadership, which is a direct sales company. And I went to that event that night. And dude, I just sat there and I was crying and crying and crying in this event. There's like 3,000 people there. And I realized for the first time that there might be a glimmer of hope for me. And I still didn't believe in myself, for a long time. But there were so many people that believed in me. I just did the work because I didn't want to let them down. Like this is the first time in my life, Nick, that people were nice to me, that people actually didn't care about what happened in my past. And my mentor always told me, Cory, it doesn't matter how you start. It matters how you finish. And he would say, stop focusing on the past. The past doesn't matter. And then he would always say, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. You need to focus on right now. And you know what? That changed my whole life. But Nick, I'll tell you right, it's the number one thing that you probably have with everybody you talk to, belief. It's belief. It's you can look at me in the eye, even in any business that I'm promoting to you. And I promise you one thing, you might not believe in the business, but you know one thing, I believe in it. I guarantee you, if you sit down with me across the table, you'll believe that guy believes in what he's doing, because I would never do anything that I don't believe in. Right. But yeah, that's it, Nick. Belief was the biggest thing. I did not believe in myself for years. Even when I was in business and started the journey, I did not believe in myself at all. It took me a long time.
Wow. I just want to say, man, thank you for the vulnerability. Thank you for opening up. I can imagine how tough that must have been for so many people and so many reasons. So, I think it shows the amount of strength that you have as a man now to open up so widely, and share that. So it shows the resilience that you have, and your heart is huge, man. So thank you for sticking and not giving up on yourself, because you're an inspiration to a lot of people.
Course. Thank you.
My man said, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Wow. I love these calls, man. I think that I receive so much from these calls. It could just be me and you running a call right here. You know what I'm saying? For how much you're speaking to me and the things that are going on. So I can imagine everyone else is gaining just as much value. I was going to take us into a different place, man, but I'm so intrigued by that story and these limiting beliefs. For somebody going through some similar stuff, right? Some people who are on this call who they also don't believe in themselves, and they also are going through that self-loathing and that place of their past is dragging them down. What are some of the core habits that they need to build to transition out of that, right? What are some of the things that somebody who is down in the dumps and down and out and doesn't necessarily have the opportunities yet, doesn't have the network yet, doesn't have the people around them yet, doesn't have, that infrastructure to grow out of their past? What would you say to those people to the first step?
Well, the first step is you have to find a support system, right? You have to find it's anything that you do in life, right? Like if you're going through an addiction, right? You go to AA or you go to NA because that's your support group. It's your support system. You get a sponsor. That would typically be like your mentor in business, but that's your sponsor. It's the person that you call if you feel like using or feel like drinking, right? You call your sponsor and then you go to your support group and you got to go to these meetings. That stuff is there because you can't do it by yourself. You can't just say, I'm going to start believing in myself today, because then if something happens to you tomorrow, you're right back to where you started. Guarantee it, right? You're going to go down that spiral. You're going to hit that valley and you're going to be there. But when you read books that are positive and uplifting, when you listen to personal development audios all day long, and that's what you're feeding your mind all day long, and then you're associating with like-minded people that are doing the same things, it's impossible for you to have that inkling of negative thought or negative belief. And you start creating habits of reprogramming. And that's really what it is. It's a paradigm, and you have to shift it, right? Everything that you want is on the other side of, what you're going to do and how you're going to believe and overcoming the fears that you have. So there's actually really no simple answer. The answer is actually really hard. Well, let me take that back. The solution is actually really hard, but it's also the easiest thing that you'll ever do in your life. Just stop it. Just stop. You just have to stop the negative self-talk. You have to stop the self-doubt. You have to stop the self-pity, and you have to speak nothing but positive thoughts into your life. And you have to discipline yourself to do it. Now, discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. Okay? Discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. So you need to make disciplined decisions on a daily basis to enhance the quality of your life. And how are you going to enhance the quality of your life? Reading, listening, and associating. And you have to have a mentor. Your mentor is going to be the person that you call when things aren't going right. Your mentor is going to be the person that you're going to call when everything is going right. It's just that person that's just going to be there for you when you can't be there for yourself, and is also going to encourage you and inspire you when you are there for yourself. They're going to actually lift you up on that pedestal, because sometimes we need that in life. And I'm not saying like you need to sit on the throne all the time, but sometimes it feels good to be on the throne, right? As long as you know your place, as long as you know your place and who your creator is, and you get in alignment with that, it's all about programming your mind. And the only way that you can program your mind is by feeding it with the right information. The more information that you feed it, positive information, there's no room for negative information. And also, don't speak anything negative into your life, right? Oh, I'm so stressed out about that next bill. I am so stressed about that next bill. Every time you say that, you're just expanding on that thought, right? And there's all these molecules that get driven into this thought, right? Like if you look at the ocean floor, right? Let's just say this is the ocean floor and this is the top of the water, right? A thought molecule comes up and bubbles up from the ocean floor, okay? And then based on all of our life experiences, we attach all these different proteins to it. And by the time it hits the surface, that's when that thought enters our mind. What if before that thought comes up, what if everything you're programming with is all the positive information that you're feeding yourself with, right? All day long. Your subconscious mind's so powerful. It's like an elephant compared to your conscious frame of mind, which is like an ant. We're talking about 2,000 neurons stimulated in a second of thought, but your subconscious mind, this elephant, is 4 billion neurons stimulated in a second of thought. So feed your elephant peanuts. All day long. Feed your elephant peanuts. That's all you got to do. And it's personal growth, it's reading, and it's associating and talking to a mentor. That's it. And that you can go anywhere you want to go in life. Visualize where you want to go. You don't get what you want in this life. You get what you picture.
Wow. We could just stop right here for the next minute and just think for a little bit. Wow, man, that's amazing. That is amazing. Cory, how long after you began to make these conscious changes in your life, you began to actually see the fruit, right? Because I think it doesn't happen overnight. And I think a lot of the people here are conscious enough, or they are aware that they can and should be, and are maybe already feeding that positivity in their brains, but they may not be seeing the results just yet. Right? So how long, I mean, I know that it depends, but how long after you begin to feed that positive brain of yours, you begin to see the fruit of that labor?
So I actually didn't begin to see the fruit of it first. Other people saw it in me. People would say, there's something different about you. You just seem happy all the time. You can't possibly be happy all the time. But the truth was, I was happy all the time. And I was still broke. But I was happy. And that was the first step. See, money isn't everything in life. Like last year, I actually went through some of the worst struggles that you could possibly imagine. I was in a dark place with about $700,000 liquid in my checking account. But I was in a dark space mentally. So money is not everything. Money is actually not what you're looking for in life. Okay. I'm telling you right now, it's not what you're looking for. Now it makes your life a lot more fulfilled to be able to do the things you want to do and do the things you're passionate about, do the things you love. But money is not what you're after, right? You're after happiness. Happiness and joy and love are the most exhilarating emotions and feelings that you can experience. Money does not give those to you. I promise you. Sometimes the pursuit of it does in certain situations, but monetarily, I could say this, it was about 4 years of really active, aggressive participation in the business model, but really it was working on myself for about 3.5, 4 years before I started earning my first 6-figure income from a monetary standpoint. But the results that I received were well before that. I would say within my first 6 months of reading and listening and associating, my whole life began to change. I was completely sober. I found Jesus. It was awesome. I was going to church every week. I was literally on the road all day long, every single day, showing plans, doing things, CD after CD after CD. In fact, I didn't even care if I was driving to an appointment to get a no. Half the time it was a no anyways, or more than half the time it was a no. But I was just excited to get in my car and listen to the next audio, listen to the next story. And dude, I'm talking about like the old Amway tapes, man. I was pumping those things in my CD player like freaking they were going out of style. I have thousands of CDs. I could go get my vault locker. If you guys want to, I'll go get thousands of CDs from Amway that my first mentor gave me. And I'm talking like Doug DeVos, Paul Pilsner, like the old Amway diamonds. Like these are the guys who carved the path for me. And really, dude, these guys are the sharpest business guys in the world. In fact, one of those guys I used to listen to his audios all the time. He was like an executive black diamond, and his name was Brig Hart. Dude, that guy is like Tommy and I's neighbor in this property warehouse that we just bought. He's our neighbor. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And he made all his money in network marketing and then took the money he made in network marketing, just like Tommy and I did, and invested it in traditional businesses. See, just like all that money that I took and made in Forex and all that stuff, Tommy and I actually have a $50 million business portfolio. See, even though my personal net worth is 13.5, our businesses are worth almost $50 million. Right? But I've been able to inject capital into those businesses through the money I made in network marketing, consulting, and trading, right? So it's not about just finding one thing, getting really good at it and mastering it and staying with that forever. You definitely need to diversify. You definitely need to expand, and you're going to expand when you're ready, but don't try to do too many things at once in the beginning, because I'll tell you this, like we have 5 companies right now that are all valued at over $20 million. I haven't done any effort, like any type of effort into any of those companies over the last 2 months, 0. And they're still worth that much money. That's how systematized they are, right? And you'll learn how to do that in your own life too. What you'll really figure out as you're moving through this journey of life is you'll figure out how to systematize every single process, but you'll learn that through studying information and really learning about yourself and who you are and how you operate, because you have to identify self-mastery within yourself first to understand how to take information in, form it in your mind, and then put the right necessary action behind it, right? And that's really everything with information, right? It comes into your mind, and then it forms, and then you need to take action on that information. So, yeah, it's definitely monetarily, it doesn't happen fast and it doesn't happen overnight, but you should see the results in your own personal life very quickly once you make a disciplined decision on a daily basis to study yourself and really study other successful people.
Wow. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. Show some love in the chat if you are getting as much value as I am. I'm covered in notes right now over here. And the beautiful thing is Cory's my direct mentor, so I get this jam all the time, baby. I love it. I love it. Hey, this is my last question, Cory. And this is a question that I love to ask because we got a lot of young people on this call, a lot of people who are at the foundational stages of their entrepreneurial journey, of their life journey. If you could go back and develop one skill much quicker, if you could go back and focus on one skill much, much quicker, knowing what you know now about success and what you know now about business, what would that skill be?
Easy. Consistency. That's it. You got to be consistent. That's all. And honestly, you don't have to be the sharpest guy in the room. You don't have to be the best speaker. You don't have to be the most education, or educational, or you don't have to be the most motivated. You have to be the most consistent, right? Consistency is key in anything that you do in life. Consistency with your self-mastery, consistency in reading, consistency in listening to personal growth, consistency in meditation, consistency in, studying the good book. Consistency in anything that you do in life is the key to getting results. You have to be consistent. But not only consistent, focused execution. That's the key, right? But consistency for sure.
Powerful, man. I think that was I know for me, every time I hear that, I'm like, man, that is it. It's like, we are always looking for some new secret, and the fact of the matter is that there are none. That's the secret. And so I love it, man. So here's my last question. A little bit on a personal and spiritual level, you mentioned that you met Jesus and you gave your life to Christ. What has that choice, whether it was you choosing him or him choosing you, what has that choice brought into your life more than anything?
You know, that's an interesting question. And that's a tough one, man, because it's not an easy journey, bro. It really isn't. You know what I mean? It's sometimes, there was times in my life where I just gave up everything. I was financially free and I was living a great life. Keely and I just moved in together, and I decided, and this was shortly after, it was about a year after I accepted Christ in my life. I decided, I was like, you know what, babe, I'm going to be a minister, just like Mike, right? And I studied at Liberty University to be a youth minister, and I was walking the walk, man, like freaking, like die hard in the Bible, like, and then all of a sudden, I just stopped it, and I stopped, and I not only stopped it, I stopped going to church, I stopped praying, I stopped reading the Bible. I mean, just like 180, I just started focusing on business, and guess what happened? Everything started falling apart in my life, and I never really associated everything falling apart to me walking away from the Lord. But it happened, right? And I mean, it seems like for a long time, I had always turned back to God when I needed God. But when I really didn't need God, because I thought I had it all figured out, I wasn't praying. And then so it's like every time, like, you got to go back and get down on your knees again, you feel so humble, man. And you feel so weak because you're just like, oh, here I am again, God. I know I could have been praying this whole time, and none of this stuff would have probably been happening because you would have been there with me. But instead, I thought I was smarter than you. In fact, I thought I was God a lot of times. But, you get humbled really quick and you get on your knees. And what I'll say is this, I'm not perfect at all. I'm the furthest thing for perfect. None of you are perfect. There was one perfect man, and they thought he wasn't perfect, and they hung him on a cross, right? So it's like, I would just say this. It's not easy, right? I have many failures in life. I am still a sinner just like all of you, but I know who I am. And I know I'm a good son of the good Almighty God. And I know that whatever I can do to advance the kingdom, I'm going to do it. And I might not walk with Jesus every single day, but I try. And, I want to get better. Like deep down inside, I want to be that guy that just like where Jesus is like, dude, you're my homie. You're doing the good work for me, man. And I really love you. You know what I mean? So I just want to be that guy. But I also don't look at God and look at Jesus like some people. I look at Jesus and God as like my friend. Like, I don't think that he wants to be above us. I think he wants to be equal to us. And I think that the whole message was, you are equal to me. In fact, it's our own limiting beliefs and it's our own programming that makes us so we can't walk on water. Well, I challenge you this. I bet you can walk on water. I bet you can. What's stopping you, right? We're told we can't, but what's stopping you? Like, seriously. Like, if we're all energy, this is massive energy, right? And we all operate on this frequency. Could you really raise your vibration so high that you moleculate? I don't know. Jesus did it. Why can't you? Jesus said, you're all gods. You can do all things that I have done and much more. So what's stopping you, right? Right? What's stopping you? A faith of a mustard seed can move a mountain? Then what's stopping you? People say, oh, well, that's not literal. Yes, it is literal. Yes, it is. I've seen some powerful stuff, man, in my day. I'm a living example of it. I've been overdosed twice on drugs. I was dead flatline for 90 minutes, and I'm here some way. I saw a woman who had a tumor the size of a baseball behind her eye, and I saw a group of men. In fact, I think actually Scott Hall's on here. We were at this guy Lon's house a couple weeks ago. His wife, I remember right in my first early days in network marketing, like these guys that I was in were like really diehard like Christians, man. They were so powerful, right? And I saw this guy's wife. He was actually my mentor, Craig Weberg, that you guys have, some of you know him. His brother Lon, his wife Jill, was given like literally 4 months to live, and she had a tumor the size of a baseball behind her eye. And he is such a man of faith. Like, he's got a prayer room in his basement. He's got a big 12-foot cross in his backyard. I mean, this guy's like a real Christian. He walks it every single day. And he said to the doctor, he looked at Dr. Nye and he says, don't you ever speak that on my wife again. And they walked out of that room. And I remember I went down to we were doing this big prayer ceremony for his wife. And I was a part of this group of people, and I was very new in my walk with the Lord. But we all laid our hands on this lady, and we were all praying for her. She was like laying on the table, and we were all praying for her, like on this mattress. Like, and dude, it was like a powerful thing, dude. Like everybody was crying. It was crazy. I never felt anything. I mean, I had every single hair on my body standing up. It was powerful. One of the most powerful experiences of my life. I was bawling like a little baby. I didn't know what was happening. All I knew is this lady that we had our hands on is like, this is my mentor's brother's wife, and they're very close to me. Like they took me in as their like adopted son, basically. So this woman's a very important person in my life. And dude, I'm telling you right now, it's been 12 years, and that woman is cancer free. She never went back to the doctor. She never went back to the doctor, and it's been 12 years, and that tumor, it's gone. They never took her back to the doctor because they didn't want the doctor to speak anything against what God promised. He would not allow the doctor to speak anything against what God promised. And dude, I'm like, and I'm thinking as a new Christian, this is crazy. Like, you're not even going to go to find out. like, that's how I was thinking. But man, I'm glad they didn't, because we were actually just at his house 2 weekends ago doing an event, and she was there sitting in the living room with us. God is good. That's all I can say. I don't understand everything about God, but I know that he wants to be your friend. And I know that, without him, we're nothing. And I might not live that life every day, but I want to. It's who I want to be. And it's, I just know that if we can advance the kingdom and we can all play our collective role, then we're all doing something good in this world, and just go out there and just be a good person and just try your best. And, just be consistent. That's it.
Wow. Drop some ones in the chat for Mr. Cory Kromray. I'm super fired up, man. We're so humbled for you to be on this call, dropping the wisdom and dropping the stories. And yeah, man, we appreciate you for everything. I appreciate you for everything that you've been in my life, man. And, I know that I can speak for everyone of the wave makers on the call that we value your time, man. We're so grateful that you wanted to come share this with us. With that being said, that concludes our recording for the 26 people who are here live, the hundreds of thousands of people who are going to watch this recording. We appreciate you for wanting to share this time with us and be a part of this community. Go follow Cory on all social media platforms. Join our Telegram chat, which will be in the description, and we will see you guys soon. Take care.